welcome to Colorado.
I want to start by acknowledging that I didn't know how to properly say Mesa Verde or Mesa Verde at the time. Throughout the episode, you'll hear me say Mesa. I think I'm right now that it's Mesa. We stayed directly in the park, and this was the first campground that we stayed in that felt left behind. There was hardly anyone there, which was interesting since it was summer vacation. Maintenance was very poor, and the facility seemed straight out of the 50s. We stopped at the Visitor Center and got our reservations for Cliff Palace. You can't hike Cliff Palace alone, you have to take one of the guided tours. We're at Mesa Verde and walking down the trail to meet for our guided tour of Cliff Palace. It's a limited number, so if you want to make sure you get there a little early. Our first view of Cliff Palace was iconic. I remember having the same feeling the first time I saw something like the White House. Seeing something that you've seen your whole life in pictures is surreal. At this point, we're accustomed to having outstanding rangers, and this was no exception. She was great at her job, and we enjoyed the tour because of her.
We're considered high altitude, high elevation. Right here we're at 7,000 feet, about 2,134 meters. Cliff Palace tour. It is about an hour-long tour, but before we get started, I do want to talk a few things about safety, your safety, and the safety of the site. You lived here 800 years ago? Oh. What? How to get here, right? Yeah.
The dry air caused another nosebleed in the boys. Maybe next time we'll travel with a humidifier in our camper. Of course, I'm a weight Nazi, so it probably won't pass my approval.
What is a kiva? What is a kiva? Does anyone know? What is it?
It's a place where they worship their gods.
It's a place for worship. What else?
Dad will hand the camera to me, I think.
This morning we did the church thing, and we, on the way back to our truck, we saw a rattlesnake. We don't know which type it was. It was like brown. A bunch of colors of tans.
It had like the triangle. Yeah. So, and it had the. Did it rattle at you guys?
Yes.
A little.
Yeah, not much, but this small.
As we were leaving Cliff Palace, we saw a roadside stand selling Navajo fry bread. We stopped and were treated to a history lesson. The wife was Navajo, and we learned the history of fry bread.
Before we met, they have a big old fair down in Navajo Nation. Yeah. Fair. That fry bread contest. She won down there one year.
Oh.
That's why I ended up with her.
Okay. For the fry bread.
The government, the U.S. government gave Native Americans, the Navajos, when they captured them and took them out to Fort Sumner. And the only food that the government gave us was flour, coffee, and we didn't know what to do with it. Then came the lard, the fat, and we melted it. They started dipping the flour in it. That's how gravy came about. But they figured out how to make deep fried dough, and that's where fried bread came from.
The husband was Cheyenne, and he told the story of the Sand Creek Massacre. We didn't know it at the time, but later in the trip, we passed the site of that massacre in eastern Colorado.
Oh, in Louisiana, they call it funnel.
Yeah, they call it funnel cake.
Yeah.
See, he's Cheyenne, Southern Cheyenne, and their story is the Sand Creek Massacre.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eastern Colorado.
That's a Mercer.
The boys now have quite a collection of ranger badges.
Please, gentlemen, and please repeat after me. I promise.
I promise.
Protect.
Mesa Verde.
While in the museum, I crashed in the dark coolness. All of the fresh air is catching up to me. We had planned to stay a little longer, but stayed only one night. I think it was a combination of the rundown campground and just being anxious to get into higher elevations. We had had enough of the heat by this point. From here, we're off to Durango.